Hey guys, I hope you're all doing well. So today I wanted to come on and do a first impressions video. This is not a full face of first impressions because I do not have a full face of brand new stuff, but what I decided to do was throw a little kick in, and the products that are not first impressions are actually going to be sort of throwback products for me, aka things I haven't used in a long time. They may not be throwback to you, they may not even be throwback to the makeup community, but for me they're things that I haven't touched since I bought another version of that item. Does that make any sense? I hope so. So anyway, I will let you know which things are the first impressions and which things aren't as we go. But yeah, I thought it would be kind of fun. Please excuse the pile of blankets behind me. We had a couple guests the last couple weeks, and there's literally nowhere for us to put these blankets because that is how small this apartment is. But please just don't look over there. So I'm going to put on this cute little headband that I got from Forever 21, and we're going to begin. Oh good, my hair looks amazing. Love it. Alright, so this is a first impression. This is the First Aid Beauty Coconut Skin Smoothie Priming Moisturizer. I have the mini size here because, honestly, I'm sick of buying full sizes of things and then hating them. So I'm going to try this for as long as the mini lasts me, and then if I like it, I will go grab the full size. So what I've heard about this primer slash moisturizer is that it is really good for dry skin, which that's me. And then it's also really glowy, so it's going to be a nice base for foundation, or you can wear it on your own depending on what you're doing. I have already done my eyebrows because I didn't have any products really to try. I've been using the same eyebrow products forever, and also it takes way too long for me to do my eyebrows on camera, so I decided not to. But anyway, so this is what the priming moisturizer looks like. I'm not sure if you can see it on the camera, but in person there is a really nice glow. My mirror is right here, by the way, so if I'm looking in this direction, it's so that I can see myself and actually put this makeup on well-ish. So anyway, for foundation, we are also going to be doing a first impressions. This is the Laura Mercier Tinted Moisturizer in the shade Porcelain. There are two versions of this. There's this one, and then there's the oil-free version. I have dry skin, not oily skin, so for me, I didn't feel like getting the oil-free version of anything would be necessarily useful, because sometimes for me, the oils in a foundation or a tinted moisturizer are good, so I got this one. So I'm just going to pump a little bit onto the back of my hand. I'm not really sure how much I'm going to need. It's like runny-ish. It's not thick, it's not like a cream, but it's not like water down my hand. So I'm using my L'Oreal sponge, which is my favorite one. I'm just going to pick a little bit up off the back of my hand and just start dabbing it in all over my face. I definitely think I did okay with the shade match for this. I have been shade matched for this tinted moisturizer before, but it was a long time ago, and I don't know. I mean, I'm not assuming that my skin changed colors, but I didn't know because I don't think that this is the palest option, which is so exciting because for those of you who know me, I am usually like the first option for a foundation, which gets really aggravating because I know people who are paler than I am. There are definitely people with whiter skin, people with albinism. Like, there's a lot more women and men out there than some of these foundation shades allow for. So it's really exciting when I'm not the first shade. Update, I'm actually not the first shade in the Fenty Beauty line either. I did just order it, and I got shade 120. Once that comes in, I'll do a review, obviously, but as far as I can tell, like, that might even be light for me, and I think there's like 2 or 3 shades that are lighter as it is. So I'm amazed by that line, by that launch. 40 shades of foundation, okay? I didn't think that anyone would ever do that, but Rihanna did, of course. Alright, so first impression of this tinted moisturizer is that it is beautiful. I would say definitely a sheer coverage. I mean, it barely looks like I have anything on, but that's the kind of coverage that I like because then you can see my freckles and you can still see my skin peeking through, which I really don't like full coverage foundation. You will probably rarely see me using a full coverage foundation, at least to the full coverage capacity, because I do like to see a little bit of my natural skin peeking through underneath. So I like it so far. We're going to see how the rest of the makeup applies over it. So also first impression, this is the Urban Decay Naked Skin Weightless complete coverage concealer, and I have the shade Fair Warm. I'm pretty sure there was like one shade or two shades lighter than this, but when I swatched them, they looked so white. They were just so pale. You know what I mean? And for, you know, concealer, obviously you want it to be lighter than your foundation, at least by a little bit, so that you can highlight your under eye area. So again, I was impressed with the shade range for this because that was allowing for paler people to still have an even paler concealer shade. So I'm just going to go in and blend this out under my eye using the same sponge. I am putting a little of this on my eyelid as well because I don't have a eyeshadow primer. I don't use them. I never have seen the point in purchasing like a $30-something specific for your eye concealer. You know what I'm saying? Concealers have worked for me, and I'm just going to keep using them because it saves me money. Okay, so upon first application, I have no problem with this concealer. It feels a little bit drying, like it's not wet and super movable underneath my eyes, but I don't really think that's necessarily an issue. I personally do not have super dry under eyes, but I know some people definitely do, so you might want to get a sample of this if that's possible, to test out and see how it reacts with the skin underneath your eyes. But it does look nice. It's smooth. I have no issues. So next up, we're going to take this Kat Von D brightening powder in the shade Petal. This isn't a first impression technically, but I have used this like once, so I'm going to say that it is a first impression, definitely a camera first impression, and I'm just going to take this BH Cosmetics brush. I'm just going to use a little bit that's in the cap. This is like the messiest product I've ever used in my life. That is the only downside, but I love it. From the one time that I've worn it, I can tell you that it is one of the best setting powders, especially with that brightening. It's exactly what I want, exactly what I need, and I'm really glad that I picked it up. I got this because ShanXO uses it, and I will basically try anything that ShanXO tries because she is amazing, and her makeup always looks fantastic. So yeah, this is how the brightening powder looks underneath the eyes. I'm really sorry if the lighting in here is crappy. Every time I get closer to my computer, I feel like you can see less well. But obviously I'm filming on a computer and I am not a professional with a setup and a camera, so I'm doing the best I can, guys. Maybe someday I will be more YouTube famous and actually have the money for a camera and a tripod and all of that jazz. So to set the rest of my face, I'm going to go in with this MAC Next to Nothing powder in the shade Light Plus. This is not a first impression, but I don't know if I've used it on camera before, so do with that what you will. I really do like this powder. It is probably my favorite setting powder that is high-end. My Maybelline Superstay Better Skin powder is also a favorite of mine. It's with me in my bag, kind of everywhere I go, always. So, I mean, if that says anything to you. And I just really like how it sets the face. It adds a little more color in, too, for days where I'm feeling like my foundation looks too light, which I was kind of just feeling. And I really, really love the feel that you get from it. So I don't know, I'm a fan. If you need a face powder that does not leave you powdery, this is a good bet. So I know I just powdered, but I forgot to do this step, and I need to. This is the Glossier Stretch Concealer, also not a first impression, but I don't think I've used it on camera. This is the Real Techniques Expert Concealer Brush. I have a little zit right there, and I'm just going to dip into this pot like ever so lightly and cover it up, because this little man is a pain in my bum, and I don't want him around. So I'm just gonna do that right there. I don't think you can even really tell that I had a zit. It's really good for spot concealing. And then I'm just gonna go in with this powder, just one more little dip, and go over that area, just so it's all smoothed out. So, problem solved. Thanks, Glossier. So next up, we're going to go in with a blush. This is the Fiona Styles Soft Cheek Veil in the shade Valley. This is not a first impressions, but one I haven't used in a while. And I'm going to take this Wet n Wild brush. It does not have a number or a name, but it's this angled kind of brush that I like to use for blush. This blush shade is actually really beautiful. It's a little on the browner side. Honestly, when I first got it, I didn't think it was going to work for me, but it kind of adds this monochromatic sort of look to your face when you use a blush that's this kind of shade and then go in with a bronzer, because it's like in the brown family, and then it all kind of blends and looks awesome and tan and everything I'm not. This is the Tarte Park Avenue Princess, not a first impression, but I have not used this since I bought the Becca Sunlit bronzer. This is an awesome bronzer. I've never had a bad makeup day wearing this bronzer, so I'm just gonna add this to the cheeks. I have a feeling that this is gonna be kind of a good combination of things. Like, everything is looking really nice so far. This is not a day where I'm going to do a wear test because it is already 7 p.m. and I'm freaking tired. I'm really sick today. But you know how to make a girl feel better? Filming a makeup video, at least for me. So next up, we're going to do just a little bit of contouring. This is the Wet n Wild contour palette in the shade, I don't think it's, Dulce de Leche. And I'm just going to take the contour shade on this EcoTools brush. My bronzer brush was the Blending and Bronzing from EcoTools, and this is the Define brush. I'm just going to take a little bit and kind of go right in the cheekbones. I'm not big on contouring, but might as well. Put a little down the sides of the nose. Contouring is not my favorite thing because I'm not super good at it, but I needed to try this out. It's fine. I mean, it's a contour powder. I don't really know how to judge contour powders because I don't contour enough, but I will get back to you. I will let you know how this goes in the future. So for eyes, we're actually going to be using another ShanXO. This is the ShanXO NBH Cosmetics palette that she came out with. I am so happy for her. This is older, but I actually didn't pick it up until the other day. So there's 9 colors of eyeshadow and then 9 colors of lipsticks, which I think is amazing. So these are the lipstick shades. I have tested those out, and these are the eyeshadow shades, and I just find it to be a really nice palette. So I'm going to start off with this Morphe M531 brush, and I'm going to take this first shade here and just kind of go all over my eyes. I'm actually just going to use the mirror in the palette. So this kind of acts as like a setting shade, almost, to set the concealer that I put on my eyelids. Next up, I'm going to use the Tarte Park Avenue Princess bronzer shade as a crease shade, which is definitely a trick that I like to use, because sometimes a palette doesn't have a good crease shade. Like, this one doesn't really have a shade that I would use as a crease shade, at least my particular preferences and skin tone. So sometimes you just need to add in from other products. And this works really well because you probably already have a bronzer going with you, in which case you're not going to need to take 2 palettes, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, personally, this is one of my favorite tricks. And sometimes I'll just leave it at that certain days if I'm not feeling like doing heavy makeup, and this will just kind of be like what my makeup looks like. I don't know. I think it looks pretty. Next up, I'm going to take this kind of yellow canary shade and sort of go in on top of that a little bit higher, to just sort of diffuse out the bronzer color and create a little bit of an eye look. You know what I'm saying? A little bit of an eye look. Oh shoot, I don't think I have mascara. I'm gonna have to get up. I'm sorry, fam. I apologize. Well, it's another 10 seconds in this already crazy long video. So next up, I'm gonna take this MAC brush. This is MAC 217. And I'm gonna go in with this kind of coppery color, and I am going to pack this on the outer V and sort of blend it into the crease. So I don't want to use too much, but enough for it to be noticeable. I really like the shade, actually. This looks beautiful. But I do want to make sure to, like, pat off what's on the brush before I put it onto my eye, because 9 times out of 10, that's when you get fallout. That is beautiful. I am loving it. I'm going to go back in with this Morphe brush and kind of diffuse it out again, because it's literally my favorite thing to do. So that looks beautiful. And now I'm going to go in with this sort of duochrome color down here, and I'm just going to pack this onto the lid. Let's see if I have enough light in here right now to do this. Maybe, possibly, mayhaps. And as you can see, it's just a really nice kind of shine, but I'm not sure if that's going to show up enough to work with this outer V color. Did I mess up? I may have messed up. You know what? Stuff happens. We're just going to live our life. I'm going to go in with the crease brush from MUA to the inner corners with this kind of champagne-y shade. Nah, this looks good. There's no trouble here. Just kind of fan it out a little bit into the inner corner. And just take this brush one more time. Just kind of go over everything. I think that looks gorgeous. I am for this. Let me go grab my mascara real quick before my computer dies. I know, outfit goals, right? We're going to be using the Maybelline, the Big Colossal Big Shot mascara, which is a First Impressions. I've heard a lot of really good things about this, so I hope it looks good. I have high hopes, because there's a lot of YouTubers that I watch who really like this mascara. So far I really like the formula. It's a little bit on the drier side, which is absolutely a preference for me. Really wet mascaras, and I just, like, don't really get along super well. So I'm all for this. I think that looks beautiful. Now, I'm not the kind of person who likes a lower lash line look, so if you do, you would go underneath with one of the shades that I used from the palette and then also add some mascara, but that's not really my jam, so I'm not gonna. For highlight, we're gonna use actually a liquid highlight, so forgive my order if you're OCD, ignore it. This is the brand new Anastasia Beverly Hills Liquid Glow in the shade Perla, and I'm just going to put a little of this on the back of my hand, and then start dabbing it on with my fingers. And I am going to use the Beauty Blender, or the L'Oreal sponge, or whatever it is, to kind of do a little more. Oh my god! I used the finger that had the shadow. Amazing. I'm so done with myself today. I'm so sick. This is comical, honestly. That's casting a really weird shadow right there, but that's fine. We're gonna ignore it. We're gonna move on. We're just gonna live our lives and highlight to the gods. Add a little more over here. Come a little further. Just a little more on that side. Dab, 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 dab. That is gorgeous. Holy shit. A little on the nose. Yeah. Okay, so, yeah, that highlight is absolutely beautiful. That's, yeah. Heck yeah for me. So next up for lips, we're just going to go back into this palette to the lip side. And I feel like I am in the mood for this darker color. I mean, I don't know how pigmented it's going to be because it's like a kind of creamy color, but we're gonna give it a go. I'm gonna try this is the NYX lip brush. Okay, that's definitely more pigmented than I was expecting. Good job. Oh yeah, that's gorgeous. It definitely doesn't look as dark as it does in the little pan, but I think that's okay. Let's line the lip. Honestly, I don't know why I don't use lip brushes more often. They make applications so much easier. especially when you're like me and you can't apply lipstick for your life. Like right there, I already made a mistake. I apologize in advance for this shitty application, but gotta overlay, I guess. I guess that's what we're doing today. And then I'm just gonna put a little more of this liquid glow right there. Oof. And that's the finished look. So let's take off the headband, let the hair flow free, and that's the finished look. So yeah, pretend I have good hair. Boom. Selfie. Yeah. I wish that my hair was longer and looking better, but for today, this is what we have going. I love the highlighter, I love the foundation, I love the mascara, I love everything, actually. I am really impressed with everything that's on my face right now, and I will definitely be using these things again. So that is the end of this video. Feel free to leave comments if you have any suggestions for things to try out or videos to make, and I will see you guys next time. Have a good rest of your night.